9 million people have received their first shot out of the more than 22 million vaccine doses distributed in the US so far, according to CDC. According to CDC data. Okay, saan naman yung itong pa? Text streaming. Sa laing bahin, the World Health Organization is giving a warning. Warns that herd immunity won't happen in 2021. Expect that herd immunity did not happen in 2021. Next, millions of doses have been dispatched in India as the country of 1.3 billion people prepares its vaccine rollout. Grabiha sa ano? Sa yun na ni? India, 1.3 billion people. Ano mo pagsalig ng vaccine eh? Masakit mo, tawagan na lang ko ninyo. Moderna expects its vaccine should protect people against COVID-19 for at least 1 year. Ang immunity sa Moderna vaccine. Sa ito pa, every year ta magpa-injection. Sa misturyahan ni ron. Ano lang mo cure? Ikaw, kuan sakit, cure, inom. Man. So, ang United States is expected to change course on vaccine distribution today. At yan ang discussion later on mga kaitson. Og Osaka lungsod dito sa Netherlands is going to test every citizen in a bid to halt the new variant spread. Grabe yan, takuas-kuas na tanang testingan ang every citizen. Ako, pwede ra random sampling ko, nata idea. Ang Switzerland ni approve na vaccine sa Moderna. Sa laing bahin, in total number of deaths, 2020 was the deadliest year in England and Wales since the 1918. Yeah, of course, 1918 natong Spanish flu o of course ang World War I. Sa laing bahin, ang China's Hebei province, lahi ng Hubei province, Hebei province expands lockdown measures and mass testing programs. Sa laing bahin pagyud, at least 2 gorillas have tested positive for coronavirus at the San Diego, California Zoo. San Diego, California. Basta nang takdan ito ng mga gorilla day. O dito sa New Zealand. New Zealand will require virus test for all incoming travelers outside Australia and Antarctica. Sus, katong New Zealand required testing. Exempted ana ang Australian o Antarctican residents. Sa laing bahin, ang mga Olympic organizers will go ahead with the Tokyo Games preparations during the COVID-19 state of emergency. O ang European Medicines Agency sa European Union nakadawat na sa application o pa ma-approve application sa AstraZeneca/Oxford vaccine. Ang Russia nag-extend sa ilang UK flight suspension until February 1, o Ireland's COVID-19 infection rate was the world's highest last week, matud pa sa mga researchers. Ang United States nag-report og 204,000 COVID-19 cases yesterday. Actually, yesterday na to, pero today na nila. US Representative Pramila Jayapal tests positive for COVID-19. Democrat ni siya. Sa laing bahin, ang El Salvador ning fine sa Spirit Airlines for boarding a COVID-19 positive passenger. Anong gipasakay sa nila? Gut germs could affect coronavirus risk. The types of microbe living in our intestines could affect how sick people get from a corona infection. Sa laing bahin, ang King of Malaysia declares a state of emergency until the month of August to contain COVID-19. Grabe sa Agosto, wala pa kabuhan. Malaysian King. Naday King sa Malaysia, diba? Puli-puli na sila. Walo na sila kasultan, puli-puli na sila sa King. US reports over 200,000 new COVID-19 cases every single day for a week. Ang Los Angeles karon is experiencing its worst disaster in decades. Ang Los Angeles. Nearly 9 people vaccinated against the coronavirus in the US. Og ang United Kingdom is entering its worst point of pandemic. Top health official warns. Mga lagi ka ni mga nasura. Why? They did not learn. I don't know. Good mo sa kuan. Let's look at the lessons from Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, Taiwan, Japan. And the UK has already vaccinated 2.3 million people in the United Kingdom. Ito pong 737 plane na nahog dito sa Indonesia, na nagduda ko related ni sa yung design defect sa 737. Although dili siya 737 MAX. Itong na ni crash 737 MAX mo to. Pero kani 737 gyapon. O ang FBI karon pang panahon na nagwarn na og armed protests. May mga armas being planned at all 50 state capitals and in Washington DC. So kada state, California, ang ilang capital dito, murag na protest dito. Ang mga protest na mga supporters ni Trump. Na mga analysts nang ingon, the US president is leaving the country in a vortex of violence, sickness, death, and estrangement. Katong matutunan. Nauga. Si Trump o si Pence, nga Thomas Pence sa White House, spoke for the first time since the riot. That's 1 week, no? Pero si McConnell kuno ang state Senate President sa United States Senate. 1 month ko sa istorya nito. Ang katong wife ni McConnell, si Chow ba to? Betty Chow. May resign, Ellen Chow. May resign na as Transportation Secretary. Ang asawa ni McConnell may Transportation Secretary ni Trump. Sabihan ng kuan katong si Nancy Pelosi day ang speaker sa House dito sa ilawom sa conference table nagtago samtang gidukdok ang ilang pultahan. Grabe dito, nagdamong ko itong mga itong plastic bitaw nga sana plastic nga clips or nag-ziplock nga plastic zip. Pwede mo ani magposas. So, grabe ito. Ang Deutsche Bank cuts ties with Trump. Uy, dagang mga bangko ha. Nga, wa namin ko ani Trump. So, ang utang ni Ronnie Trump, ikihaon las Trump ani. Ang mga law enforcement kuno people were absent from cameras as questions about the attack mount. Wa ko na makitaan ang mga law enforcement sa mga kamera, so nanago magipasagdan. Ang Deutsche Bank will no longer do business with President Donald Trump, a move that will cut off his business from a major source of loans that once helped fund his golf courses and hotels. Padawi ka ni si Trump ha, dako pa nag-chance mapriso ha, within 6 months after leaving office. Germany's biggest bank has decided to refrain from future business with the president and his company. The news was first reported by the New York Times. Spokesperson for Deutsche Bank declined to comment, citing a prohibition on discussing potential client relationships. The move is the latest example of corporate backlash against the president after his supporters vandalized insurrection na gito ay may ginga nila the Capitol in a brazen assault that left 5 people dead. Mga Black Lives Matter pa to nga kuan nga rally wa na ginakraka na to. Nakanamatay na to. Gamay 30 patay 40. On Monday, ang Signature Bank said it has started closing Trump's personal accounts and called for the president to resign. The US bank na Signature Bank also said it will not do business in the future with any members of Congress who voted to disregard the Electoral College. Si Trump kuno sa checking account at Signature Bank. So, daganag mga bangko, murag ang JP Morgan og Citibank nagkuan na po. Grabe. Okay, oy. Si Ma'am kuan din Cheryl Cortez, naminaw na to ron. Kumusta na ka, Ma'am Cheryl? Igamit yung account sa mga husband, no? Good evening, Ma'am Cheryl. Niya, si Doris Maturan from Cordova, namino na to. O si Jocelyn Servandel, may gabi. Tug na ang panahon. Ma'am Jocelyn ay. Ya, ma'am, tuon na dyan kas COVID-19, ma'am, tambal ang Humanity VX ra. Okay, so grabe nino. Marabag kuya na ni kuan ni Trump eh. Kuya na ni. Now, how effective is China's Sinovac vaccine? Data confuse experts. Talibugan na ito niron. Now, different data from the trials in Brazil, Turkey, Indonesia. Ang Indonesian president is going to receive the vaccine on Wednesday amidst confusion. Okay. Days before a global rollout kicks off with the president of Indonesia receiving the Sinovac Biotech Limited vaccine on live television, uncertainty swirls over the efficacy of the leading Chinese shot, for which 4 different protection rate numbers have been released in recent weeks. Almost humanity 100%. Paita ni mo to. Kapangit. Ito pa Ma'am Jocelyn Sermandel. Proven na gyud naka-help gyud kuno humanity sa iyang family. Indonesia, which is moving the fastest on distributing the Sinovac shot to its population, said that a local trial showed an efficacy of 65% against COVID-19, but only kagamay roy 1,620 people in Indonesia took part in the trial. For that, Turkey said last month that the same Sinovac vaccine showed an efficacy of 91.25% in its local trial, which was similarly too small to draw a sufficient conclusion. In Brazil, where Sinovac's biggest trial of more than 13,000 people is being conducted, dueling efficacy rates have been publicized. The company's local trial partner, ang Butantan Institute in Brazil, said last week that the vaccine was only 78% effective in preventing mild cases and 100% effective against severe and moderate infections. Yet, a local news website reported this week that the true efficacy rate was between 50% to 60%, citing unnamed sources. Butantan Institute said this was speculative and that it would release additional data karong adlaw. Now, overlapping efficacy data is not unprecedented in the COVID-19 vaccine race. AstraZeneca released 2 separate protection rates based on different dosage regimes last month, and all the findings are above the threshold of 50% efficacy required by the regulators for approval. Yet the confusion which comes as several governments commit to inoculating their citizens with Sinovac vaccine is fueling skepticism over Chinese vaccines, which have disclosed less safety and testing information than Western frontrunners. The data careful risks further undermining trusts and shots that President Xi Jinping has promised to share with the rest of the world as a global public good. There's enormous financial and prestige pressure for these trials to massively overstate their results. Lipod na ni sila ron. Og naminaw na to si Mr. Nathaniel Baguio sa YouTube. Naminaw gikan sa Aklupan, Talisay. Yeah, Sir Nathaniel Baguio. Okay. Saan ka? Where are you? Daw. Daw ani. Pero sa taas. Refresh. Okay. And Dow Jones is at 31,008 and 69. By the way, mo-open sila 9 a.m. their time, 10 p.m. na to. So in 6 minutes, the market will open. Then, the gold. Pila na gold karon? Gold. Ang gold karon, we're receiving the data every 10 seconds. So na 1,844.00 US dollars per ounce. Grabe. 0.10 na. Every 10 seconds lagi mo change. So live na itong data dyan. Okay, Brent crude oil is now $56.38 per barrel ang Brent crude oil, and 56.38 mo change na pala around every 10 seconds mo change man eh. 56.4 na 56.40 na. Kanina 38 karon 40. 56.40. So, mag-change siya. Muna itong kangingig sa itong pwede na batag CNN. Live ang change sa data. Ang foreign exchange sa Pilipinas mo ni. Ang US dollar karon is ang reference rate is 48.09. Ang pound is 65.00. Hong Kong dollar is 6.2. Switzerland is 54.022. And Canadian dollar is 37.22. Saudi Riyal is 12.81. And United Arab Emirates 13.09. Ang euro is 58.4. Ang headlines mo na ito rin makita niyo sa atong screen. From the bottom going up, it's going to be a tough year for cloud stocks. O ang Barron's Daily, here's where earnings season really begins. O sa laing bahin, gold prices attempt back-to-back gain but steadily climbing US bond yields pose a headwind against gold prices. Sa laing bahin, ang Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine could alter the course of the pandemic. Investors will soon know if it works. Mas lahi ng Johnson & Johnson, pero kaning J&J murag adenovirus man siguro sila, dili sila mRNA. Ang 2-year or 10-year treasury yield curve, the steepest since 2017. That means sa man sakab iubos pa. NEO drops, Wells Fargo pops as stock market heads higher. Right, so sa naman sa Brazil calculations. Yung mga kuan nila. COVID-19 severity is linked to gut bacteria in the first of its kind. Ito na-mention kanina sa mga bacteria sa mutiyan. Los Angeles County officials are advising essential workers to wear masks at home to avoid further spread of the virus. China expands its lockdowns, cancels summits, and new COVID-19 outbreak. Chief Justice John Roberts, United States, has received both doses of the COVID-19. Kaya kailangan nagdua ka dose, no? Now, doctors found another strange coronavirus symptom that no one can explain. Sa mga bago nga symptom. Grabe na nakita na pong laing symptom. Sige, tanaw na to. Okay. So, man, offline ta. Awa ta sa kwan. Sa streaming. Paano offline ta? Wata sa streaming. By the way, online ba ta offline? Na may message din mo nga na offline. Kuha na niya, offline batag online. Libo ka mataanin, kadaghan na to monitoron Sa live ta, dili. Mag na offline ko, no? Live ta, dili. Namli ay. So, message ko na sabi, live ba ta dili kay na may indication this among kuan nga offline. Ano ni? Sa among dashboard. Okay. Sabihin ng Donald Trump, no? Ang Bitcoin ko, no, may kuan, may down by 20% in just 3 days. Di ko gana ang Bitcoin. Too volatile. Di pa siya kuan. Dili pa siya, ano siya na ni? Politics. Ang House of Representatives sa United States, they are going to vote on the resolution calling to remove Trump from office by the 25th Amendment, pero kana siya, buhato na siya ni Vice President Pence. And I don't think Pence will do that. Okay? It will destroy his party, di ba? Republicans mo contest ng Congressional Republicans. So, kuha na lang na siya ron. I think what will happen is that magkuha na sila. Like impeachment. No? Impeachment. House of Representatives expected to vote karong adlaw Tuesday on a measure calling for President Trump to be removed from office through the 25th Amendment in the wake of violent siege sa US Capitol last week. Pero it is doubtful whether Vice President Pence will do that. No? And then also the question of whether Trump should pardon himself. Kung pardon himself, yun na pwede yun. Because if you pardon yourself, then you're now above the law. Si Representative Liz Cheney, wife ni former VP Cheney, Dick Cheney, the number 233 House Republican, told colleagues on a conference call that Wednesday's impeachment vote is a vote of conscience. Cheney, who has not said how she will vote on the impeachment, is one of the handful of outspoken critics of President Donald Trump's disinformation surrounding the November election results and Trump's attempts to overturn the election. So the House will vote Tuesday evening, Wednesday morning na nato, on the resolution urging Pence to invoke the 25th Amendment to remove Trump, and then they will plan to vote on Wednesday, Thursday na nato, on the Wednesday 9 a.m. so Wednesday evening na to, on the impeachment resolution. So sa US, ang ilang plano sa ilang impeachment, Trump could be impeached by the House. Impeachments, impeached by the House. Mura siya, di siya convicted nga itong Senate. Impeached, accused in the House, impeached in the House, and then maybe one day before sa oath-taking ni President Joe Biden, pero inig ka after that, the Senate might convict him a few days or 1 week after si Biden inaugurated. So would that still be valid in the Philippines? I don't think so, because under our constitution, the main purpose of impeachment is removal from office. And removal from office, actually, by impeachment, by definition, you cannot impeach a person who's no longer president because it's not an academic. The purpose of removal is rendered moot because he's already removed from his office by virtue of expiration of his term. Okay. So, no? Og si Lianik Sendi namina na to ron si Nidia Remedios sa Norway, Georgian Alforque, okay, online pa kuno. Georgia TV's matupad niya online pa naa sa FB o YouTube. Ambot sa na may indicator din offline sa among kuan sa restream kung sabat nga no. Actually sa sabat nga no. Okay, so the U.S. House of Representatives plans to vote to demand that Vice President Pence seize power from Trump. Okay. Before the Capitol riot, Republican lawmakers fanned the flames. Na po yung nag-apil-apil po dito kanang encourage sa mga rioters. Justice Department now pursues at least 150 suspects in the Capitol riot dito. Facing a virus deluge, California turns stadiums into vaccination sites. Ang sa Florida murag ang sa California ang Disneyland. Mo nila nga vaccination site sa Anaheim, California. So, can you impeach Trump again? Should they impeach Trump again? So, sa gibuhat ni Trump, yung encourage siya, una-una dito, ingon pa siya nga, mo-appeal ko ninyo, lakaw sa Capitol. Wala din lakaw. We will not take it anymore, matod pa ni Trump. We will stop the steal. States want to re-vote. The states got defrauded. They were given false information. They voted on it. Now, they want to recertify. May gingon ni Trump. So, kay panong din na Trump report, mao. The charges against Trump are clear: inciting an insurrection. The House could give him fair consideration without the lengthy hearings it required to impeach him in December 2019. And after he strong-armed the Ukrainian president. The evidence now is not second-hand accounts of meetings and phone calls. The offenses occurred in public for weeks and then live on national television. So, dili lang ingon nga katarong adlaw sa Wednesday. Ang all the other days leading to that event, katong Trump ni Trump nga, it will be a wild day, come to the Capitol. So, significant effort from Republicans would be necessary to achieve a 2/3 majority in the Senate required for a conviction. So, may might be impeached in the House, but I don't know kung convicted ba sa Senate 2/3 man. But the deadly attack on Congress finally seems to have shaken some of them from the reflexive backing of the president. So far, among the Republicans, only Senator Ben Sasse of Nebraska has said he will consider impeachment. Others are said to be privately discussing voting for it. Senators Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania have called on the president to resign. If Republican senators refuse to convict Mr. Trump, they would go on record for their constituents to see and reconcile. The arguments against impeachment, that it could actually sow more division or that it could distract Joe Biden, the agenda of Joe Biden in his first several weeks in office, that the Senate may ultimately fail to convict, are worth considering. There could be more unrest and even violence. In many ways, it would be easier to let Mr. Trump leave office and attempt to consign the storm of the Capitol to the past. But ultimately, there can be no republic if leaders foment a violent overthrow of the government if they lose an election. As long as he's not held fully to account, any future chief executive might feel equally unbound by a lawless president. Okay, so anyway, patag 1 hour. Salamat sa pag-iguban ka na ko. Atong Dow Jones ni open na ba? Open ang Dow Jones. Ay, ang gold ba ni? Dow Jones. Wapa mo open dito sa atong screen mo kay sunan. Pangan pa siya dot. Pangan pa dot. Hindi open na ba? Papagyapon. Anyway, salamat sa pag-uban ka na ko. This is episode number 62 of the Benz Nightshow on the 12th of January 2021. Thank you and good night. Bye.